Stanford University.
As we begin, let us take a moment to recognize that Stanford sits on the ancestral and unceded land of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe. This land was and continues to be of great importance to the Ohlone people. We recognize that every member of Stanford has and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land since the institution's founding in 1885. Consistent with our values of community and diversity, we have a responsibility to acknowledge and make visible the university's relationship to Native peoples. And so we begin with recognition, with honor, and with reverence on this sacred occasion of Convocation. Let us be together. Standing on the precipice of possibility, we pause to be present to this very moment, to this rite of passage, to this particular beloved community. In the days ahead, may we cultivate a passionate love of learning, exploring new ideas and diverse disciplines through intellectual inquiry and responsible innovation. May we hear one another to speech with a deep listening born of curiosity and goodwill. May we cultivate a community that seeks out difference not for debate, but for sheer delight. That in our diversity we might discover new truths about each other and ourselves. Poised between the past and the future, we ready ourselves right here, right now, to become part of this new, vibrant community of belonging. And so, let's take a deep breath in together. Go ahead, do it. You need it after this day. And look around. Look to your right, look to your left, look to the people you know, your families and friends, your brand new roommates, and look to the people you know not yet, but will. Go ahead, not a lot of looking. I see you. We do this. We look at one another because we are Stanford. We are Stanford only together. It is with this group of people here gathered on this quad today that we will sojourn the year, nurturing in one another the wisdom and strength, tenacity and drive, grace and compassion necessary to confront the ever-growing challenges in our lives and in the world. May we greet this new adventure with open hearts and outstretched arms, never losing faith in the collective power that we have harnessed here to create a world marked by peace, justice, and compassion beyond measure. So may it be. Amen. And now, as we begin, it is my pleasure to introduce the Dean of Admission and Financial Aid, Richard H. Shaw.
Class of 2023 and transfer students! You sit before us on this glorious day surrounded by family and friends, and life indeed has significant moments of transition, and this is a big one. You are here, you're in college, and you're at Stanford, so take a deep breath and let's hear it much better than we just did this, and a cheer for pure joy, how excited you are in 3, 1, 2, 3! I think that may be the best yet. Go Stanford, go Cardinal. Wow, you're amazing. Maybe the loudest ever. Let me officially begin by sharing a few highlights about you and your classmates. The beautifully diverse class of 2023 and transfer students is 1,722 strong. So you come from 48 states and 77 countries. And by the way, I already have admissions officers on the ground in Mississippi, and North Dakota will be 50-50 next year. 48% of you, 42, I'm sorry, that's wrong. 52% of you are women and 48% men. I tried to sneak the reverse in here. You come from 1,253 high schools and you're transferring from 18 different colleges. Over 11% of you are citizens of other countries and you speak 49 unique languages in addition to English. Nearly 19% of you are among the first in your families to attend a 4-year university. and 9 of you are military veterans, and we salute you. These measures and highlights are illustrative of the whole, but the whole is the sum of the parts, and each of you is a unique part. Indeed, in substantive ways, you've shared your unique story with us. Stanford, through its undergraduate application, is famous for asking a great number of questions, short and long. And we actively seek to hear your voice and your reflections when reviewing your candidacies. Of course, your academic and extracurricular strengths are the foundation of your application, but the texture and nuance and context come through in your written words. Can I be honest? While success can be measured in part by grades and scores and activity lists, the meaning and purpose of your candidacy to me comes through in your own words and in the words of others who tell us who you are in the world. We know you are smart and capable, accomplished and talented, but you're more than that. Human characteristics are important and inform your candidacies. Pause for a moment and think about qualities of character, what might be termed non-cognitive characteristics. Might you find your human self within the meaning of some of these? Curious, compassionate, innovative, resilient, creative, strong, collaborative, caring, thoughtful, optimistic. I emphasize these qualities because they lead me to a request. I observe that generations X, Y, Z, now UZ, have grown with the ever-expanding World Wide Web. In this world, we find shortcuts in all we do. We find ourselves in a world of sound bites and disinformation. We are informed by innuendo and incomplete ideas. Besides arms and legs, we have additional appendage that carries rapid-firing messaging, which at times seems to direct our navigation through life. It encourages communication without commitment or consequence. We are impacted by the infinity of information coming back at us, true, false, or indifferent. Call me old school, but allow me to make a heartfelt request as you enter this incredible place full of life, learning, and endless possibilities. Take your mobile device and occasionally put it away in the drawer. I will do the same. We read your applications without the benefit of incomplete sentences. We may well know you better than many who only see a fragmented version of you on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and WhatsApp and Snapchat, or in the Twitterverse, and so many more. So I ask you to take a deep breath more often than not. Pause from using that extra appendage and slow down. Hold an extended conversation or stroll with a friend. Speak in full sentences to each other and listen carefully. Make a commitment to read short stories and books thoroughly and to ponder and ruminate creatively. Yeah. PhD. Research and find your own true passion and self with depth, compassion, understanding, and openness. We saw something in you well beyond sound bites. You are a person, complete and whole, without an extra appendage. We look forward to seeing you grow and thrive. Welcome to the farm, and thank you for choosing us. And I now have the privilege to deliver you to the undergraduate schools and introduce you to Professor Harry J. Elam, Jr., Senior Vice Provost for Education and the Vice President for the Arts at Stanford University.
Thank you, Dean Shaw, for your remarks and for delivering to Stanford this amazing new class. As Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education and on behalf of the Stanford administration, faculty, and staff, following the hallowed rituals of Convocation, it is my honor to accept you from the Dean of Admissions and officially welcome our truly remarkable transfer students of 21 and 22 and the fantastic Frost class of 2023 to Stanford University. Students, let me just echo what as others have already said because it bears repeating. We are so very glad you're here. Now begins an exciting new adventure that may pass ever so quickly, but its impact will endure your entire lifetime. Now begins the realization of a dream built on the realities of hard work and persistence, on sacrifice and commitment by you and others who believed in you. Now begins a Stanford experience that is singularly yours, but at the same time communal, forever linked to the other 1,700 students, compatriots that embark with you today on a shared quest to define and discover the future. It is communal also in that from this day forward, you are joining the wider Stanford community, all those on campus and all those alumni across the globe. But then, what of today? How do we reconcile its meanings and consequence with those yesterdays now past and tomorrows yet to come? For today has finally arrived. You are here. The waiting is over. You've waited a long time for this day. Earlier this summer, you probably started letting yourself imagine what might be, how you might feel, whom you might meet upon your arrival at Stanford. Your mind may have gone spinning with different outcomes and scenarios, trying to predict every little detail of your soon-to-be too long anticipated life on the farm. There are the big questions. Who would my friends be? Would I fit in? And then the less existential, but no less more important concerns. Will I like my RA? What is an RA? Where do I do my laundry? And just what happens when you wash those reds and whites together? Where will I get a bike? And that bike helmet that I'm told is oh so fashion forward. As I suggested, just as you've been waiting for Stanford, Stanford has been waiting for you. And so today it is with great pleasure that I and the Dean of Admissions, the President, and other administrators all went around to each Frost dorm, shaking hands, welcoming you to Stanford. Today, as you moved into your new residence, staff and fellow students were on site to grab your bags, to help you and your RAs shouted out your name and cheered as you walked up to register. Needless to say, this caught some first-year students by surprise. On the way, I saw more than one student, when they called out their name, smile and look down to see if they were in fact wearing some other kind of identifying signage. Another confided in me that, quote, well, Stanford is big on machine learning and technology, so I thought maybe Stanford had planted some kind of tracking device in my approaching Stanford materials, end of quote. I saw wet eyes on more than one family member with the recognition that this gesture of welcoming signals part of our very personal concern for their young person. This welcoming ritual you experienced this morning is a tradition at Stanford that speaks to a practice of community which yokes us all. You are all now part of this community. New students, we hope you will come to recognize that you are seen, that your interests are valued, and that you belong. You are entering Stanford at a pivotal moment in time, a time lifted by the highest possibilities and greatest hopes, but all the moment made keener and more poignant by the knowledge that we stand on the precipice of a certain change and unprecedented national and global challenges. It is a time when higher education itself is both coveted and contested. Consequently, This is a time that amplifies all the more what it means to be here at Stanford. Here at home on the farm, away from home, you will find the encouragement to think critically, the opportunity to engage new perspectives deeply, the singular potential to conjoin social commitment, service, and intellectual inquiry productively. Here, diversity, equity, and inclusion are not just an empty mantra, but fundamental principles. Stanford works to offer all of our students, regardless of their beliefs or their background, community and support, opportunity, and acceptance. Now, you may have read or heard that Stanford is the land of unicorns, a place where lucrative startups and technological innovations are paramount and extravagant VC deals are made just steps from CS classrooms. But hear me, this is not the sum of what you will find. What you will find is a brand of liberal education that is particularly distinctive to Stanford. It is not just a matter of what we teach, but how we teach, how we integrate attention to student well-being and creative confidence in academic progress from the very outset of your time here. Liberal education at Stanford purposefully embraces and fully immerses you in the humanities and arts, as well as the social sciences, natural sciences, and engineering, because we are concerned about and invested in your whole being, your complete self. Liberal education at Stanford foregrounds the value of hands-on experience and recognizes that so much learning is not about the classroom, but about what happens in your dorm, on the playing fields, in the concert halls and studios, outside soaking up the sun and the beauty that is Stanford. Sure, you can get rich at Stanford, but I mean rich on the lasting interactions you shape with people different from yourself. Rich from the challenges you will face with professors who may push you outside your comfort zone. Rich in the power of creative and intellectual risk-taking that will embolden you and move you in new, unexpected directions. Rich in the support that we always strive to offer you even as you mark out your own way. To be sure, you can chase unicorns at Stanford. Those unicorns that symbolize your own seemingly rare and precious intellectual ambitions. We hope that you will come to see and know for yourself that nothing, really nothing, is impossible here. Now, I can say this because Stanford, unburdened by the weight of 300 years of ivy, rejoices and cultivates in the leavening spirit of invention. Stanford, of course, has its own storied history and traditions, but our unique culture also embraces the uncommon, uncertain routes, the less predictable trail. This philosophy has been critical to the university's achievements. Built on an inclusive vision and expansive ideals, this upstart university on the Pacific Rim, with its decidedly West Coast vibe, has recentered the academic universe. By virtue of our location and our orientation, Stanford, you will find, widens the global perspectives through which to view the world. Parents, family, friends, we know that you have sacrificed in ways large and small to make this day possible. And even as you want this so much for your loved one, you may be feeling that this day, though long awaited, has somehow suddenly come a little too soon. I understand. As a parent of an alum myself, it never gets easy letting your young person go forth into the world. Still, let me attempt to ease some of your concerns. Here, students will be pushed by it, but appreciated. They will face exceptional academic challenges, but also find unprecedented encouragement. They will come to know new worlds, but also come into new knowledge of themselves and others. New students, we recognize that today marks a new beginning, that today you step out with much anticipation into your future. Please know that you are not alone. In this time when the world seems at a turning point, Stanford offers you pathways to become a part of an educational community that is once intimate enough to be responsive to you, and at the same time capacious enough and inclusive enough for others' particularities. And so, as you realize your own dreams and aspirations, we trust you will find your way and also find your people. Rest assured, Stanford will change you, and in turn, you will change all of us. The great adventure that is your undergraduate experience begins today. Welcome to Stanford. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the student speaker for the student address, Will Paisley, class of 2020.
Yate she edine hastinishle adone nishlinigi do beshith honeda nathlane amskapipekane nohokooste keda ui nige bashishin. Will Paisley inishe? Hello, my name is Will Paisley. I am a two-spirit Navajo and Blackfeet. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns. Good afternoon, President Tessé Levine, Provost Drell, Vice Provost Elam, Dean Shaw, faculty, trustees, and our most important guests, all of you, our new students and family. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate you, the class of 2023 and incoming transfers, for being the next cohort to enter this unique and amazing institution I've come to call home. I stand before you today with great pride, joy, and gratitude. Stanford has given me much more than I ever hoped for, dreamed about, and expected. Here, amidst a rigorous academic environment, I have found communities that I have come to love and that love me back. I have found friends who now will always be family. I have cultivated my dearest passions and found my callings. The value I hold dearest at Stanford is community. The power in collective strength, belonging, and inclusivity is enveloping, empowering, motivating, and inspiring. Coming from Seattle, I began my Stanford career with the Stanford Native Immersion Program, lovingly called SNP, a pre-NSO retreat that helped me integrate seamlessly into the Stanford community by first becoming part of the Native community. During SNP, we were introduced not only to the multitude of resources available to us as undergraduates, but we made meaningful connections with each other. Older students, staff, and faculty served as our mentors on this retreat. SNP showed me from the beginning what it means to be part of the community, how it felt to be cared for, and how important it is to take care of others. I have so many heartfelt memories from SNP, including how my arresting performance of the Mean Girls Christmas Talent Show moved my gracious peers to award me the superlative of Sass Master. Since then, I have found many other orbits and communities that I now belong to, and I can't begin to describe how enriching it's been. My greatest joy at Stanford has been building relationships with peers and mentors who inspire and fuel my passions and objectives. Around me, I have people who support me wherever needed, and who continuously encourage me to be the best version of myself. Growing up, I did not feel like I belonged, as my interests and identities were just developing. Many of you may also feel like this, so I want you to know how vitally important this supportive community at Stanford will be to you. I am blessed to have found belonging and opportunities that cultivate my personal character, academic scholarship, and leadership potential. This community has been the key to how my Stanford journey has evolved over the years, and for the roles I have taken that allowed me to care for this community in so many different ways. From having the great privilege of serving as the co-chair of the Stanford American Indian Organization, the indigenous community I call my family on campus, to staffing in an arts-themed cooperative residence on the Row, to being rush chair for my fraternity, to working as a coordinator for your Admit Weekend, from embracing my desire to support and promote the recognition and success of indigenous peoples, especially within my own tribes, to academic exploration and faculty mentorship toward a double major in Native American Studies and Sociology with a minor in Spanish, to studying abroad in Santiago through the Overseas Study Program, and now to writing an honors thesis on entrepreneurial Native American fashion, which I hope will serve as a powerful storytelling tool to help others better understand the burgeoning contributions our rich, diverse, and ancient cultures continue to make to today's society. The community here has supported me so that I am now here to support you with this win. And with hard work, you can accomplish more than you can imagine. Here, I have been able to expand my personal and professional inquisitiveness to create a fully integrative and experiential undergraduate education. I've grown fully confident in my identity and now exert all aspects of my character with excitement, happiness, and most of all, pride. At Stanford, you can find mentors, friends, and family, and most importantly, yourself. I feel incredibly blessed to attend this institution today. And now, I am excited and happy for you, because it is now your turn to find your own blessings and create your own community. Thank you. And now that the wind has died down, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce the president of Stanford University, Mark Tessier-Levine.
Well, thank you so much, Will, for sharing your story. And to all of you, welcome to Stanford. I know you've had a long day of moving, of getting oriented, and learning your way around campus. For me, move-in day is one of my favorite days of the year. You all bring so much excitement to our campus, from the energy and warmth as you meet the people who will become your friends in coming weeks and months, to the arguments that erupt over who was supposed to bring the mini fridge. It really is a special day. Now, to our incoming first year and transfer students, I am just so delighted that you made the decision to come to Stanford this fall. Each of you will enrich our Stanford community and help us see the world a little differently. You are what makes Stanford such a special place, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. And to all the family members and friends who join us today, I want to thank you for entrusting your loved ones to us. I want to assure you that we will support and care for your students as they undertake the important work of intellectual exploration, personal connection, and contribution that will mark their time at Stanford. We are happy that all of you are joining our Stanford community today. Now, at the start of each year, I like to give some words of advice to our incoming students. This year, I'd like to do this through the lens of a historical figure who speaks to the spirit of a Stanford education. That person is Leonardo da Vinci. Earlier this year, I read Walter Isaacson's recent biography of Leonardo, and I also visited an exhibit on Leonardo at Stanford's Green Library, just over there. It's still showing, and I invite you to see it. Leonardo lived in Italy during the Renaissance in the late 15th and early 16th centuries. In fact, he died exactly 500 years ago, half a millennium ago, in 1519. Many of you know his masterpieces, the Mona Lisa and The Last Supper. They've distinguished him as one of the greatest painters of all time. But you may know less about the achievements that transcend his artistic work. He was an inventor, a scientist, an engineer, and a scholar of literature, anatomy, and architecture. He was always exploring, always trying to know more, to learn more about a sweeping array of topics. His interests range from determining the different techniques needed to paint reflected light as opposed to direct light, to understanding the mechanics of a woodpecker's tongue. Leonardo's boundless curiosity across disciplines and his approach to combining the arts and sciences in his work made him what we consider today to be the quintessential Renaissance man. Now, the magnitude of his accomplishments can make them seem out of reach, easy to admire, but hard to apply to our lives today. But as I learned more about him, I realized there are several lessons and experiences from his life that are directly relevant to all of us, and that might be particularly helpful to you as you embark on your journeys here at Stanford. First of all, Leonardo was relentlessly curious. Because he was curious, he explored and gained knowledge of people, the natural world, and engineering. He combined that knowledge with his artistic inclination and created unprecedented works of art. For example, he believed that a deep understanding of anatomy would help him become a better portrait artist. He found that anatomical dissections could help him understand muscular structure and depict the human body more realistically, more powerfully. He explored how light strikes the retina, the neural tissue at the back of the eye, and found new techniques to create an illusion of changing visual perspective in The Last Supper. The notebooks he kept have been called, quote, the most astonishing testament to the powers of human observation and imagination ever set down on paper. Because he made these notebooks, many of which survive, we continue to learn from his ideas and questions, from the lists and sketches he recorded on a regular basis. So, I offer you this advice. Use your time at Stanford to explore, to be curious, with the enthusiasm and determination of a Leonardo. Your college years are a unique moment in your life when you have the opportunity to freely explore a broad variety of interests. I encourage you to look beyond what you already know, to unexpected paths and possibilities, and embrace learning outside the classroom. Here at Stanford, you have the opportunity to discover what's exciting in you in every discipline and learn from leading scholars in each and every field. You can explore your interests both close by and also far from campus at our overseas programs. When you prepare to enter the job market, some years down the road, you'll find that employers are looking for graduates with unique experiences, knowledge across disciplines, and the ability to think deeply and understand varied perspectives. Even better, these experiences will help you discover what brings you happiness and how you can combine and apply your talents. So be relentlessly curious, explore, and do take notes. My second lesson from Leonardo's life is that he was an individual. Isaacson writes that Leonardo's creativity stemmed from, quote, his ease of being a bit of a misfit, different from the stringent cultural expectations of his time. Leonardo was vegetarian and left-handed. He was born out of wedlock, he was gay, and he held some views that were considered heretical, all of which created obstacles for him in 15th century Italy. But his individuality also meant that he didn't let others' opinions constrain his own thinking, and he was often centuries ahead of his time. He envisioned flying machines, underwater diving equipment, and portable bridges. Some ideas came to fruition in his day, some of them generations later, others we are still waiting to be realized. Then and now, being original and unique can be difficult, but ultimately rewarding. So, I encourage you to be true to yourselves and celebrate your individuality. Follow your heart and embrace your personality like Leonardo. Cultivate and express those qualities that are uniquely your own. In our world, and even in our university, you will sometimes encounter strong pressures to do what others are doing. Resist the inclination to model yourself on the success of others or to focus on someone else's idea of what you should be. Be an original, be yourself, and also remember that you, with the ideas and personality that you possess, will contribute to this community in amazing ways. A third lesson from Leonardo's life is that although he was an individualist, he also took advantage of the growth and opportunities that come from being a team member. He wasn't a loner, but instead a genius who worked well with others and learned from others. Beginning around age 14, he became an apprentice with an artist and engineer named Andrea del Verrocchio. There, in one of Florence's best workshops, he began learning how to convey a sense of motion and how to tell a story through his art. He learned how to use math and the beauty of geometry in the studio, which led to another one of his iconic pieces, Vitruvian Man. This stunning, meticulous drawing, which I'm sure you've all seen, depicts a man's body with arms and feet outstretched within a circle and a square in an intersection of art and science. Not only did he benefit from others, he also added to his team's success. Many of Verrocchio's works were, in fact, a combined effort, and Leonardo made significant contributions. Isaacson tells us that Leonardo enjoyed the collegial and familial atmosphere so much that after he turned 20 years old and his apprenticeship ended, he continued to live and work in Verrocchio's workshop for many years. So reflecting on these experiences, my third piece of advice is this: as you gain new independence and begin charting your own course, also take advantage of the joys and benefits of being a team member. On the quad today, you are among people with different backgrounds, identities, viewpoints, and ways of thinking who will open your mind and broaden your horizons. Lifelong friendships begin here, with many with peers whose stories are very different from your own. So I encourage you to connect with each other, support one another, and make room for new ideas. Your social interactions will make you happier, help you accomplish more, and enrich each other's lives, as well as our campus community as a whole. A final lesson from Leonardo is the way he experimented and then strove with great persistence to continually improve his work. You might not be familiar with his portrait of Ginevra de' Benci, the daughter of a prominent banker. He completed it while in his mid-20s, and today we might call it a prototype. Ginevra de' Benci is a fine painting, but it's far from his best work. It does, however, show experimentation and hints at the genius that is yet to be realized. As Isaacson points out, we see the early stages of many of Leonardo's touches and innovative techniques, from Ginevra's three-quarters pose, which was unconventional at that time, sfumato, which is the blurring of lines and blending of tones, and the facial expression with that tiny hint of a smile. These features are all at the core of what would be on full display 3 decades later in the Mona Lisa, the most famous painting in the world. It's important to note that despite his genius, like everyone, Leonardo also experienced disappointments. Isaacson tells us that he was not always a giant. He made mistakes. He went off on tangents. Notoriously, he left many of his paintings unfinished. He was rejected for some treasured projects, and his notebooks include expressions of anguish. But he wasn't deterred when he fell short. As you begin your fascinating new journey, my fourth piece of advice is to experiment and not let the obstacles dampen your spirit. Always try new things and then adapt and improve. Expect to have challenges and setbacks in the classroom and in your personal lives. We all do. Navigating them will help you persevere and improve. And remember that success can take time and can take hard work. As Will said just a few minutes ago, with hard work, you can accomplish more than you can imagine. And if and when you hit rough patches, be assured you are not alone. We will help you. Your resident advisors and fellows, faculty, professors, coaches, staff members, and many others are here to help. In fact, our entire university is deeply committed to your well-being. Although I believe that each and every one of you is capable of producing masterpieces in your lives, and you should know that you are capable, you should not necessarily expect them to come right away. But you can expect to start envisioning them here, and everyone here is excited to help you get started. To the class of 2023, I also hope that each of you will consider how to use the knowledge you'll gain here to make your own contributions to making the world a better place for all. You'll find many opportunities here to make an impact. For example, our Cardinal Service Program can help you find service opportunities that will improve the broader community and also align with your own interests. That's just one of many opportunities you'll find here to affect positive changes in the world. Before closing, I want to say a final word to the families and friends here today. I expect that many of you are feeling a mix of emotions this afternoon. The joy of seeing your student embark on this next exciting step into independence, mixed perhaps with some sadness about how quickly the time has gone by. You have raised tremendous adults. Now we will be your partners in supporting them as they explore their interests and determine where their talents will lead them. As the father of 3 children myself, the youngest of whom is now a senior in college, I want to offer 2 pieces of advice learned through my own experiences. First, I encourage you to give your students the space they need to explore and make new connections. But at the very same time, make sure that they know that you will always be there for them when they need you. They will still need you. And to our students, I am so happy that you've chosen to spend the next few years with us. I wish you Leonardo's immense creativity about the world, and that you'll find the opportunity here to explore everything that interests you. I can't wait to see the paths that each of you will take and the wonderful things that you will do at Stanford and beyond. Welcome to Stanford. And now it's my honor to introduce our student soloists, Tim Isaacs and Lauren Ramlin.
Please rise if you're able for the Stanford hymn. We will sing the hymn 2 times, the first time so you all can hear, and the second, we invite you to please join us. Where the rolling foothills rise, up towards mountains higher, where at eve the coast range lies, in the sunset fire, flushing deep and paling, here we raise our voices hailing thee, our alma mater. From the foothills to the bay, it shall ring as we sing. It shall ring and float away. Hail, Stanford, hail! Hail, Stanford, hail! I'll play it again. Where the rolling foothills rise, up towards mountains higher, where at eve the coast range lies, in the sunset fire, flushing deep and paling, here we raise our voices hailing thee, our alma mater. From the foothills to the bay, it shall ring as we sing. It shall ring and float away. Hail, Stanford, hail! Hail, Stanford, hail! You want to say your thing?
Please remain now.
I got it.
Oh.
She's got it.
Good job. If you're able, please remain standing. Thank you. Source of life and love, we are here and we are grateful. Class of 2023 and beloved transfers, are you here? Are you here? May these words be as a blessing upon you, as if they could pass on to you what you most need today. May they bless you, not merely for the path ahead, but for all the moments that will open themselves to you in each day to come. May you be given a generous heart when you think of the place called home, a place you couldn't wait to leave, and now one perhaps you have already begun to miss. May the wisdom of humor and humility help you take yourselves lightly, live more slowly, as though your worth does not depend on your work. May a generosity of intellect inhabit your doubts long enough to befriend them, long enough to listen and learn from those with whom you disagree. And may you live compassionate of heart, clear in word, gracious in awareness, courageous in thought, generous in love. And may these words of blessing be upon all of us gathered here, upon this university, and all those who have sustained it and passed on its deep heritage to us. May it be so.
For more, please visit us at stanford.edu.